So let me give a little background to Eric, and then we'll proceed. Eric is a very right-wing YouTuber. He considers himself an anarchist capitalist. One of his main things is to say the canon in comic books is often being violated when it's adapted in film and television. Sometimes he's very consistent, but sometimes he's not. Now, I'm actually agreeing with him here. What they're going to do apparently is change Carrie Kelly, who canonically was this white teenager in The Dark Knight, from a very famous 1980s graphic novel, and now she's being played by a young black woman. And I actually agree with him that this is not a good idea. However, he and Bounding into Comics had to go one step further into that this is a part of a campaign of ginger side and equating ginger side to something else. So we're going to hear him rant and rave a little.
It's very solid. I wouldn't recommend you spending money though to get like some sort of omnibus or something from DC. I wouldn't recommend that. But Deadline, Kelly will be portrayed in the CW's upcoming Gotham Knights by Navia Robinson. The actress perhaps known for a role as Nia Baxter in That's So Raven sequel series Raven's Home. So this is just Dark Knight. I can tell that fucking I can tell that art from anywhere when they appeared. And as it says, it's noted above, since our introduction, the first issue, Frank Miller's, which, I mean, you say what you will, all this different universe shit. I know that those statements still stand regarding my position on that. But as mentioned right now, she's always been a white-skinned redhead, and that's not up for secret. Even when they have had her covered in more modern depictions, that's what it is. She's been kind of a short-haired, redhead, white woman. However, she is now going to be a black woman. That's her with Batman right there in The Dark Knight 3. But now she is going to be a black woman.
Now, the basic point is fine. I have no issue with that. I do think the canon is being toyed with needlessly. The basic point was correct. The canon is being needlessly violated. But the further point of Gingerside, one, it's not true. And secondly, I don't think it's relevant. I get what they're trying to do, which is bandwagon off of fears and suspicion regarding characters like Red Sonja or other famous characters that do have red hair. But I think it's a basic point, but they're pushing it a little too far. Now, I agree with even the larger point is fine when it's true. I think it's needless to change that. But Carrie doesn't fit this. If we actually look at her first appearances, she's not a redhead. I think it's more proper to say her hair is orange or even blonde or just a kind of orange blonde. So why he's classifying her as a redhead, I have no clue. I think this is related to another controversy with Netflix and this Viking show and having a black woman there. So I'm actually with him halfway that you need to be careful when you make these changes. And here I think it's needless. So they shouldn't make the change. But then making into this larger ginger side narrative is not correct, at least not with her. Now, they may have a good point with that larger point, but not here. And again, if his whole thing is, I want to stick to the text and the canon, then you want to stick to the canon and the text. And the text does not say redheaded. She's not a redhead. So I don't understand what he's saying that. She is redheaded in certain versions, but she's not redheaded in other versions. So at very best, this is a question mark. But if we go with the first appearance, no, she's not a redhead. I don't understand why they're classifying her as a redhead. Just want to group her with other redheads to make this propaganda point, which is no better than the other side. So to me, it's like just stick closely to what did and did not happen in the comics, and you'll be better off. But you can make adjustments, because especially things like the Eternals, that story probably would have really bored a lot of people. It would have been hard to translate, because like this one, it's not meant to be part of the main universe. The Dark Knight was meant to be its own universe with its own rules, its own timeline, so on and so forth. And I didn't even like how Kelly evolved. I would have preferred if Frank Miller just kept her within that Robin design, but he wanted to change her. Now, I do think that the classic Carrie may still happen, because Zach is on record that he wants the classic Carrie. So, should hope that maybe she will still appear in a proper live-action format. This isn't a major issue, but yeah, it is a little silly. But regarding Gingerside, no, it's not happening. She doesn't have to be redheaded. That's not a major issue. So if they have Carrie with a slightly different hair color, that's fine. It's not a major problem. Ironically, if they did make her redheaded in a live format, that would actually be violating the canon. So he's not, again, entirely consistent. I think here, though, he actually has a good legitimate issue. But as always, they're trying to rework it into their right-wing propaganda. And that, I think, is a little bit more questionable.